In the news this week, minority votes win the race. Labour's racing to secure Perth's multicultural vote with targeted events as polling spells trouble for the Liberals. We have exclusive coverage of the announcements.
The spirit of ANZAC Day celebrations disrupted by extremist hecklers protesting the welcome to country. Perth youth set to shine in this year's international robotics competition, fostering STEM skills. Later, Dr. Andrew Miller's comment.
This is The Evening News with Ivan Leung and Maliva Thorne.
Good evening. With less than 1 week before the federal election, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is leading senior ministers to specifically target and appeal to WA's multicultural community voters. Federal Minister Anne Ali answered tough questions in a leaders' forum, while Foreign Minister Penny Wong announced $1 million funding to Changhua. We have exclusive access to both events, and Paige Reid begins our coverage.
Federal Minister for Youth and Early Childhood Education Anne Ali attended a pre-election public forum at the Multicultural Service Centre of Western Australia this week. She answered questions from voters about the upcoming election. The Labor politician attended the meetup on Wednesday night, where other parties were also invited to join. The Greens pulled out last minute, with the Liberals a no-show, now making this the 20th year in a row since they have made an appearance.
Well, I have to say that if you want to represent Australia, modern-day Australia, then you need to show up. You need to come to these forums. You need to listen to cultural-linguistically diverse communities, because this is Australia.
Ramdas Shakaran, who hosted the event, says it was disheartening to only see the Labor Party show up.
I don't think the Liberal Party gets the importance of events like this. We live in a democracy, and in a democracy, elections are critical because they determine who gets to, run the country on behalf of all Australians. And, to be able to exercise one's franchise in an informed way.
Sankaran says that whilst the invites were sent out last minute, the parties had enough time to write out a response to the questions asked. He says the other parties are taking those in the multicultural communities for granted, and it's clear. The Prime Minister was also seen this week alongside the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Penny Wong, supporting multicultural communities. Wong announced that if Labor are re-elected, they will commit $1 million towards the construction of the Changhua Association Bentley Community Centre.
I'm pleased to say that if a re-elected government, an Albanese government, will contribute another $1 million to your project. And we do that because we know multiculturalism and community harmony, it comes in part from political leaders, but it also comes from community.
Meanwhile, the leader of the opposition, Peter Dutton, seems to be losing more of the public's favour as Labor continues to take lead on poll. Paige Reid, WAMN News.
Tens of thousands of West Aussies gathered at Kings Park for the ANZAC Day dawn service to pay their respects to war veterans. The services in Perth and Melbourne were marred by extreme right-wing hecklers disrupting ceremonies before being escorted away by police. Later in the morning, citizens gathered on St George's Terrace for the Veterans Parade to cheer them on.
As the first light breaks over Kings Park in the heart of Perth, tens of thousands gathered in solemn unity for the ANZAC Day dawn service. Political leaders and VIPs also gathered at the War Memorial, paying tribute to diggers and veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice. For RSLWA President Duncan Anderson, this day is more than just a tradition. It's a deeply personal experience.
For me, on today, that's probably one of the few times where I get to sort of just be with myself. So it's a nice time to sit there and just consider all the good things we have in Australia, and even the brisk morning temperatures, but certainly it's just a quiet moment of reflection before it sort of kicks off again after that.
Still, the morning wasn't without its blemish. A heckler reportedly disrupted the Welcome to Country ceremony, echoing unfortunate incidents in other cities. Anderson and other political leaders did not shy away from addressing it.
It's disgraceful that someone would impose themselves on the solemnity of the occasion and inject themselves into the dawn service, and demonstrates a complete lack of understanding of the importance of reflection on ANZAC Day.
A Jewish memorial service was also held in Kings Park right after the dawn service, with members of the community attending. Citizens then gathered on St. George's Terrace cheering on war veterans and members of their family as they marched down the street. For many, the moment served as a reminder that ANZAC Day is more than just a ceremony. It's a reflection of who we are as a nation, and the spirit of the day remains unshaken. Perth's talented young people in STEM and robotics are set to compete in this year's Make X robotic competition. The international championship, set to be held at Government House Ballroom, will showcase local talent as they face off against rivals from around the world, including the United States, China, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and more. The competition will take place from the 21st to the 22nd of July this year. Invited participants must complete specific goals with their robots in the fastest way possible in order to win the competition. Local students at Technology for Kids are confident they have the home ground advantage. Tutors, on the other hand, said young people can gain valuable skills and friendship.
So another win would just be like another trophy on my, shelf. So that'd be very good to have. Plus, it's like really good for my academic record, getting lots of competitions in, doing well and winning. So yeah, it'd be just very good to add to my collection.
To assemble a robot together and figure out ways how to do the challenges that have to do with the competition.
For these competitions, benefit for the students, just like they can invite teamwork, creativity skills, they can build their robots by their own, and also they can also train their coding programs and also coding skills, and they can just teamwork to make some missions and finish some missions.
Parents are also encouraged to enroll their children in the school's coding and robotics holiday camp before the end of May to receive free entry to the international competition and potentially win a scholarship of up to $30,000.
Hundreds of cyclists took part in the Brigadoon Super Challenge Hills this Sunday, travelling either 50 or 100 kilometres through the scenic hills and valleys. For those completing the 100 kilometres, King and Queen of the Mountain honours are up for grabs, with exclusive prizes on offer. Current King of the Mountain and Perth-based cycling legend Ricky Andrews says it's one of his favourite places to train. The Herne Hill Primary School is filled with activities during and after the race, with local hospitality vendors and bike services available for all. City of Swan Mayor Tanya Richardson says it's a great chance to bring the whole family and make the most of the event in the area. The event also welcomes e-bike and recumbent riders.
Armidale police detectives are currently investigating an incident involving an injured and unconscious man found in Bedfordale earlier this month. Police are calling for public assistance in determining what exactly took place on Friday, the 18th of April, in Bedfordale. The injured 53-year-old man was spotted by members of the public with clear and significant injuries and was found lying unconscious near the driver's side of the door of his silver Holden Commodore sedan. He was transported to Royal Perth Hospital, where he remains in serious condition with head injuries and broken ribs. Authorities released further details this week in the hope to identify potential suspects. Anyone with information should contact Crime Stoppers.
And now, here is Dr. Andrew Miller with his weekly medical and news commentary, less than 1 week before the federal election.
Hi, thanks for your time. Federal election coming up on Saturday. Health hasn't been a major issue, mainly because the parties are keen not to be seen to be particularly different from each other. Labor promised $8.5 billion to go towards bulk billing. A little bit tricky because to qualify, a practice will have to do everything through bulk billing, and not many practices can afford to do that at the moment. So it will be interesting to see how much of that $8.5 billion actually gets spent, whichever party gets in. The Trump effect, I think, is having a bit of a drag on the coalition, particularly on the health side. Scary things coming out of their jurisdiction with regard to RFK Jr. and his views on vaccines, and the link to autism, which has been disproven more times than pretty much anything else in medicine. But still, there are some who want to rave on with conspiracy theories, and the problem is when you have them in charge of your health system, that can be a very dangerous place for your population. So happily we're not looking at those kind of things here in Australia, but I think that anyone whose brand is even closely associated to that side of politics at the moment is going to be pushing it uphill, and as most of the polls predict, I'm expecting we'll see a government return, possibly with a reduced majority, and our access to universal healthcare in Australia, fortunately, for now, remains pretty well assured, whatever happens on Saturday. Travel safe, enjoy your democracy and your sausage in a bun, if that's your preference. Thanks for your time.
That was Dr. Andrew Miller's pre-election comment. And now here's what's coming up on 6 News tonight.
Thanks guys, the top stories we're following on 6 News. Pope Francis has been farewelled in front of 250,000 people watching in Vatican City and throughout Rome, plus millions more watching around the world. And we'll also have the very latest on the federal election campaign with our election reporter Maggie Perry on the ground with the latest on the upper house race. You can watch live 24/7 on the 6 News YouTube channel. For now though guys, it's back to you.
Thank you very much. And that's our weekly news and current affairs. We have the latest news on our website, wamnews.com.au.
Remember to subscribe to the WAMN Extra News Club so we can continue our work in the community. Full details on wamnews.com.au/news/extra. Now, next week is the federal election day, and of course we'll have latest coverage on our Sunday bulletins and of course live reports throughout the day. We look forward to see you then. Until then, from Melanie and myself, wish you good health, good night. See you next Sunday.
Thanks for watching.